back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about Knott's Scary Farm. So if you guys don't know what Knott's Scary Farm is, it's pretty much this it's the theme park Knott that has a scary time event or Halloween event during Halloween, which there are a whole bunch of monsters running around and there's mazes going throughout the park as well as the rides. But pretty much all the mazes have monsters inside and you're just like running away from like monsters on the outside as well as they are patrolling the streets. So I want to talk about the tips and tricks on how to get inside and work as a monster there. Alright, so you're probably wondering like, how do you know how to get into the Knott's Scary Farm monster ways and things like that? So most people don't know this, but I actually worked there for 2 years and I was actually a monster there. I know I don't look it, but without makeup I probably do. So pretty much I was a maze monster both years. So there's two different things of monsters that people don't really know on the outside. So there's a maze monster and then there's a street monster. So the street monsters are obviously the ones that are running around in the like streets and the pathways of like in the openings of rides and things like that. So those are the ones that are scaring you there. And then there's also the maze monsters, which are actually in the mazes and are the ones scaring everybody in the mazes. So I was a maze monster. I did want to become a street monster, but I just didn't have the experience to be in the streets. So anyway, I'll get more into that later. So pretty much for the reason why I'm talking about this is auditions are coming up very soon. They are usually around July 25th, around that time, or like in late July. Alright, so pretty much you're gonna want to know like where to start off and like how to even get an interview for the actual job. So pretty much what I did is you actually go onto like the Knott's website and everything, and like you go through their job list and see if they're hiring for the scare actors. They should be around this time since most of the actors or previous actors or monsters have already gotten their rehire card. So what a rehire card is, pretty much all the monsters that have worked in previous years will either get a card or they won't get a card, depending on if Knott wants them to come back to work another year. So pretty much most people aren't going to have that since you are wanting to get into the actual business and you're going to want to be like, you're going to want to start off as a monster since it's your like first year and things like that. So I would recommend going onto the actual Knott's website and then like checking to see if they have interview dates, and then from there you're gonna go in for your interview and everything, and you're actually gonna sign up online again for an actual audition date. So once you get your audition date, you're gonna want to keep that whole day clear just for your audition. So you're just going to want to keep it clear because the audition can last a couple of hours and it will take up your whole day. I promise you that. Many people have made the mistakes of like, oh, I gotta leave at this time, and then they don't end up getting the job. So I would recommend just clearing that whole day. Don't like request time off from work or anything, or if you have to do that, if that's the case. So I'm going to be telling you how the audition process goes. So you actually show up the day for your audition, and you're going to be like, you're going to see a whole bunch of people like outside waiting behind like this gate that you're going to go into. They'll give you instructions at the actual interview, like where you're supposed to go. So you're going to see a whole bunch of people there. You're going to wait in line like everybody else, and then they're going to call you by the certain time slot that you actually set your date for. So like on your audition process, once you get the date, you're also going to get that time. So you're going to want to show up a little bit earlier for that time just to make sure that you're there and that like nothing gets in your way and that you can for sure make it to that time. So once you get in there, you're going to be taken through the back lot area of Knott's, and they're going to take you to like the hiring place, kind of. They're gonna take you to a building where they go through all your paperwork. So you're gonna sit down, and sometimes you're gonna stand, and they're gonna call you one by one, like by your name, and then they're gonna make sure like, oh, they're gonna ask you questions about the job, things like that. You answer all those questions pretty much, pretty basic for like a regular like interview kind of basis. And then they're gonna take you into like another room, just explaining the rules again, and they're gonna like pretty much just talk over. And then once you finish all like the paperwork and all the boring stuff, then you're gonna walk over to where the auditions are gonna take place. So usually where the auditions take place, it's gonna be like in a giant room. There's gonna be at least 3 different people there that are gonna be judging you in where you're supposed to go. So you're probably wondering like, what am I auditioning for? Like, I just want to be a maze monster. Why do I have to audition for that? Like, that's strange. So that's how it used to be back in the day. Like, they didn't audition you for the maze position or anything like that. They only auditioned you if you wanted to be on streets. So pretty much what happens is they audition you now for the maze, and they also audition you for the streets. So when you're going in for the audition, don't think that you're gonna get where you initially thought you were gonna get. You're gonna be like, oh, I want to get into this certain maze. Well, that's not really how it works. It depends on your acting skills, and it depends on how well you do in the role of the character. That determines where you go and if you become a street monster or a maze monster. Usually most first year monsters end up in maze, and then from there they can audition the next year, and then they can eventually become a street monster if that's the case. But there are some rare cases where some people are very good, get into character very well, and are able to become street monsters. Anyway, so going back to the audition process, you're going to be waiting in line, again, like every other part of the audition. You're going to be waiting in a line. So you're going to be waiting until your name is called up, and you're going to be actually part of a group audition. And this group audition can consist of like 5 to 6 people. So you're going to go all in together, and pretty much how the audition works is you're going to be in a room. You're gonna have the 5 and 6 of you guys line up, right, like in a line right next to each other, and you're gonna see 3 people at a desk. And pretty much what's gonna happen is they're gonna ask you like, oh, what's your name, things like that, and just what like special talents do you have that will make you stand out from the rest. So once you go through all of that, they are gonna ask you to do like a group audition of acting. So pretty much they're gonna be like, oh, act like a zombie, and everybody has to act like a zombie. My tip for that is get into character right as they say what they are, like what they're looking for. So if they say get into zombie, like think really quick and be like, okay, turn into a zombie, and like do all what you would normally think a zombie does. And then after that they usually say, oh, do a vampire or do a werewolf, or they ask you like about like 4 different characters, and you have to get into that character very quick. So just be loud, be high, be low, just be everywhere. You want to stand out from the rest of the people if you want to be on streets or if you want to be noticed. So pretty much after that, they usually send you guys back outside, and then they usually ask, oh, who wants to be part of the street auditions? And if you want to be in a street, like outside of your maze, they'll ask you to come back like individually for a street audition, and from there they're gonna ask you to be a certain character. So pretty much they can be like, oh, be a killer clown. We want to see how you look like as a killer clown. So really quick, if you really want to be in a street audition, you want to be loud, you want to be vocal, you want to be all over the place. You want to be able to like crawl on the floor, then you want to be up in the air. You want to pretty much do things like that in order to get noticed, since it is a little bit more difficult to become a street monster. That's where some people kind of struggle, and I struggled in that department of I wanted to be a street monster, and I was like, I wasn't too loud, I wasn't too vocal with what I was doing, so I didn't initially get picked for the street position. And it really depends on what position that they're going to put you in. So there's 4 different departments for streets. They have CS, which is the Fiesta kind of style street zone. They have a Ghost Town, which is the Ghost Town street zone. They have Carnival, which are pretty much the clown street zone. Killer clowns filled with all of that. That's probably one of my favorite street zones. And then they have the Hollow, which the Hollow is a little bit newer. Pretty much the whole place is surrounded by fog, and it's like mythical creatures, kind of monsters, and like scarecrows. They have crows in there, they have witches, kinds of things like that for the Hollow. So after the audition process, depending on whatever they rank you as, then you will be told like, oh, well, if you didn't get the part, they'll be like, okay, we'll try again next year. Then you go back and they'll give you your card to be hired as a maze. And then for the rest of you, they might do the same. They'll just give you a card for the maze and everything else. And then after that, you're going to be taken to another building where they actually put you in the maze where they think you would fit best. So there are a couple of mazes that you could possibly fit into. So that all depends on you if you want to take the job or if you don't want to take the job. And they'll pretty much just assign you where you want to go, so you don't really pick where you want to go. So that's pretty much how the audition process goes. After that, they then do like wardrobe and everything like that, but that's something that they explain to you and everything like that. But now I guess I should talk to you a little bit about my experience on how it was working there. So I did work there for 2 years, or kind of like a year and a half kind of thing. So when I first started working there, I actually didn't work the first like full year. I actually only came in like halfway through the year, since I was like one of those late hire kind of people. So I was like one of those people that they kind of needed like last minute because somebody stopped working there, or somebody just didn't end up working out or something like that. So the first year that I was working, I did work in the maze, and I was working in the maze called Gunslingers. So that maze is no longer there at Knott's Scary Farm, since it was a little bit one of the older ones. When I did work at Gunslingers, I worked as a skinwalker. And if I do have a picture of that, I'll try to put it on screen right now, so that you can see like what my costume was pretty much. And then my second year actually was my first like kind of full year kind of. And I worked in a maze called the Red Barn. And when I was first hired into that maze, I was considered the bloody child #1. So pretty much the whole like scheme of the Red Barn was like, oh, there's this scary barn with a bunch of like murderous like pigs and things like that. So like crazy creatures that were like inbred with pigs, and there became these monsters. And we were there on a school field trip, and all the kids were like trying to get out of the maze, and we were helping people along, like helping the customers come in along and like helping them escape from the maze pretty much. And we had blood all over us. If I do have a picture of that costume, I'll go ahead and put it up. So pretty much I really enjoyed working there. I think everybody should at least experience it one time, since it was so much fun. You make so many friends there, and there's like so many people there, that like it gives you like this backstage kind of like experience of where you will never see like Knott's the same again, but it will make your experience so much better because there's so many nice people. It's so much fun scaring the customers and being in character all the time. It's just like it gives you a way to become like this crazy monster kind of thing. So I would really recommend it for anybody else. And a lot of people don't know this, but if you do end up working like the full time that you're there, if it's your first year, then you will receive this hat, which is a Knott Scary Farm red hat, and at the back it does say it says rookie. So because at the time you are a rookie, and that is your first year there as a monster, so that's like a little bit benefit for you. You also get like this little keychain that says like Knott Scary Farm, and it's called like a skeleton key kind of thing. And you also get tickets, or free tickets, to Knott's Berry Farm. So like the regular theme park, you get tickets for that. You get up to 10 tickets depending if you don't miss a day or anything like that. A lot of commonly asked questions are like, what is the schedule like? So pretty much what the schedule is like is you work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the hours are like sometimes starting from 6 to like 1 o'clock in the morning, or 4 to like 2 o'clock in the morning, some hours like that. So you must be able to work those kinds of hours. It gets very tiring. Your voice is gonna hurt after the first couple of days. When you're first working there, I would recommend not like giving it 100%, but not straining your voice too much, because after that you're gonna like lose your voice after the first day, and you're just not gonna be able to do the rest of the season without like losing your voice. So I would recommend like taking it slow, like do your best, but don't overdo it, which is a mistake that I always made. I would always lose my voice. I would always get tired super fast and things like that. Also, another little tip, drink water. I cannot stress that enough, because I've made that mistake. I literally passed out from dehydration because I did not drink water and I didn't eat anything. Please eat something, please drink something. That is your biggest concern, is your health. Please do that before you even worry about working there or anything like that. If you guys happen to have any more questions about like the audition process, or you're just nervous about your audition, or any questions that you guys have whatsoever that I didn't touch upon, go ahead and feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'll try to respond to them as best as I can, the best of my ability and to what I know and like my personal experience. So go ahead and leave those behind, and then I wish you guys luck in your audition, and I hope you guys have a great time at Knott's Scary Farm, and if you do become a monster, happy scaring.